Hello students, welcome to another lovely topic. In this topic, we'll be looking at the structure of the earth. The earth has two structures, the external and the internal structure. But in this particular class, we'll be looking at the external structure of the earth. What is the external structure of the earth? The external structure of the earth are just simple landforms that support the activities on the earth. They refer to the spheres that interact on the surface of the earth, creating the landscapes and landforms and living conditions that support living on planet Earth. When you hear the word spheres, what should come to your mind? We have four main spheres, which are the lithosphere, the hydrosphere, the biosphere, and the atmosphere. Each of these spheres play different functions on the Earth's surface, and they help to support landform and other living conditions. They all work together to create a better living condition on Earth, on planet Earth, for all of us, not just us, including the plants, the animals, the abiotic and biotic factors, that are the non-living and the living things. So when you hear the term lithosphere, what comes to your mind? You can also call it the crust. They refer to rocks, the earth crust. You can just say land. When you say lithosphere, you can just say it refers to land. And when you hear the word hydrosphere, what should come to your mind? Hydro, like it implies, hydro means what? Water. So hydrosphere, when you hear the term hydrosphere, the water should come to your mind. Remember, lithosphere, land, there are four spheres: lithosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and atmosphere. Lithosphere is land, hydrosphere is water, atmosphere refers to the air around us, the air surrounding us, which consists of trace gases, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and so many more. But those are the major components which we'll be looking at as we proceed into the class. Then biosphere refers to the biotic factors. Those are the living things on the earth. They refer to the plants, animals, the birds, the trees, everything. And you know, plants and animals work together to survive. Alright, the lithosphere contains the element of the Earth's crust. Like I said earlier, when you hear the word lithosphere, what should come to your mind? Land. And the part of the upper mantle, the Earth crust, is the hard and rigid outer layer of the Earth. That's the land. The same land you dig up when you want to drill for water. When we look at the internal structure of the Earth, we'll be looking at what goes on inside the Earth crust. For now, we're looking at the outer part, the external part. And this lithosphere includes soil, like I said, land, soil, the mantle, just call it crust. It was taken from the Greek word lithos, meaning rocky. So when you hear the word lithosphere, and you just remember what crust, rock, land, soil, all that should come to your mind. From these moving pictures, you can see they are trying to show you what it means. They add an upper mantle, that part of the earth crust. The lithosphere is diverse and covered mountains, hills, plains, and even the ocean floor. That's to tell you how wide the lithosphere is. And the lithosphere is the other part of the external surface of the earth. All right, and now we're looking at the hydrosphere. All water on earth is known collectively as the earth's hydrosphere. And remember, the earth surface consists of 71% of water and 29% of land. Water is found in three states on earth. We have the gas form, the liquid, and the solid. The hydrosphere extends from several kilometers under the surface of the earth as underground water and several kilometers up into the atmosphere. That's when you hear the word transpiration. When it exists in the gas form, you can call it water vapor. And when it's frozen ice, that's the solid form. And the liquid form is the natural existing form. Most of the earth water is salty and found in the ocean. 97% of it. Ocean water is always known to be salty, and most of the earth water is. That's why before we get water to drink, we have to purify it and pass it through some treatment tanks and so on and so forth. Liquid fresh water can be found underground in rivers, lakes, streams, and as rain. And all this water you still needs a little bit of processing, like the rainfall. You might want to boil it before drinking it. Clouds, fogs, mist, and steam form geysers and are examples of water in gas form. Like I told you earlier, you can call it water vapor that exists in gas form. Snow, a solid, is also part of the hydrosphere. That is frozen water. Even when you put your water in your refrigerator and it's frozen, it's also in a solid form. That's the solid form of uh, water. Glaciers and ice are also solid parts of the hydrosphere. Yeah, because it's in the frozen form. They are also parts of the hydrosphere. All right, so now let's take a look at the atmosphere. We've looked at the lithosphere, we've looked at the hydrosphere. Now we're looking at the atmosphere. Remember, we're all looking at external structures of the Earth. The Earth atmosphere, like I told you, is the air around us. The air makes up the atmosphere. It extends from 1 meter below the surface of the Earth to 10,000 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. You can see how wide it is. It's your immediate surrounding, the air you breathe in, exhale, and so on and so forth. The Earth atmosphere is held around the planet by the force of gravity. And I want you to know that Earth has a gravitational pull of 1, and unlike other planets, and the moon has lesser gravitational pull. The Earth atmosphere has 5 main layers and a 6th layer: the ionosphere that overlaps with mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. As you go further into the atmosphere, this time passing into the clouds, you see there are other spheres, many spheres like the stratosphere in the cloud. That's the highest parachute jump. You see the stratopause before you see the mesosphere. All these parts are where these planes they can experience what they experience when traveling. That's why sometimes they have turbulence when they attain a particular altitude. You can see after the mesosphere, you have the mesopause. This time you're already leaving the cloudy zone and you're going to the thermosphere. And now you are going into space, going to the ultra high altitude wind. I don't think any plane has been able to get to this altitude except a rocket that is launched into space. So the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere are all abiotic parts of the Earth's system. Abiotic are non-living. When you hear the word abiotic, they refer to anything that is non-living, while biotic refers to anything that is living. So finally, we'll be looking at the biosphere, which is the only biotic sphere in the Earth system. Biotic means living. The biosphere consists of living things, plants, and animals. It's different from all the sphere because this is the only sphere that supports life, all life. This is the only life on the sphere. The biosphere refers to life. When you hear the term biosphere, just know that it refers to what living things. All life on Earth is found on the biosphere. They include all microorganisms and range from plant, animals, and even macroorganisms. Those you can't see with your bare eyes, even by the use of a microscope. You can use it to view microorganisms. There's an estimated 20 to 100 million different species in the world, organized into the 100 phyla that make up the 5 kingdom of life forms. That's a little more bit of biology, but what it's trying to tell us is that the biotic factor ranges from different points, from the microorganisms to the macroorganisms and the animals and the plants. The organisms in the air, also soil and even water on Earth. That's to tell you that the lithosphere, the hydrosphere also have living things in them, but the biosphere just refers to what the living part of the Earth. The lithosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere all continue to interact to create the many biomes and different landscapes on Earth. That's it on the external structures of the Earth. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next class.